What's up guys, Mike here back for another review video. This time it's on AlphaDestiny's recent video on why chain dips are apparently garbage and not worth doing. So let's just jump straight into the video.
Doing dips with chains around your neck is mostly a waste of time, and I'll keep proving that to you with facts and logic. First of all, I hear a lot of guys saying that this forces you to lean forward, therefore increasing chest activation, and who doesn't want bigger pecs? Sounds great, right? Except for one insane, huge fucking problem. This is the easiest way of doing the weighted dip. It is your default position when the weights get heavy. So why in the actual fuck does this need to be forced?
No, it's not your default position, Alex. It's actually a position that you're forced in because the weights are on your neck, which brings your body forward. It tilts your body forward, forcing you to use more of your pecs rather than just your triceps and your lats, which take a lot of the weight when you're more upright. If the weight is around your neck instead of dangling down from your hips, then by the sheer mechanics of it, it's going to tilt your body forward because the weight is in front of you, and it's going to give you more chest activation because it's bringing your arms more in front of you than straight down when you're doing a dip. I don't see how you can argue with that.
If you look at street lifting competitions, these are the athletes who have the best weighted dips in the world. This is their competition fucking movement. They train for this day in and day out with heavy weight, maxing out, lots of volume work, etc. It's like powerlifting for bodyweight athletes. All of the strongest athletes hit the best dips by leaning forward because it is...
Hit the best dips by leaning forward? I don't know what you mean. You would lean forward more if you had the weight around your neck instead of your hips. Unless we're just talking about being as strong as possible and lifting as much weight as possible, which isn't anything to do with developing muscle really or progressing in your lifts. It doesn't make it a better exercise just because you can use more weight.
The most biomechanically advantageous position. Therefore, you don't have to force it. It's automatically going to occur after a certain point. For many of you, that'll probably be when you get to 100 pounds or more. And if not, you can still do it yourself. So if a plate is hanging off your waist and you still find yourself being upright, doing more of a tricep style dominant dip, manually lean forward, and voila, you're getting all the benefits.
Yeah, try manually leaning forward when you've got 3 or 4 plates around your waist. You're not going to be able to do it. You are going against the whole mechanics of the lift by trying to lean forward when it's dangling straight down underneath you. Okay, the weight wants to pull you straight down when it's around your waist. That's why it's best doing those with tricep dips where you've got to stay upright. If you want to do chest dips, then you need to lean forward, and putting a chain around your neck is going to help you lean forward. So I don't know how you can argue that having the weight directly underneath you is better for leaning forward and activating your chest, because it just isn't. And don't confuse getting a good chest workout with lifting more weight, because they are not the same thing. Just because you're lifting more weight on a lift doesn't mean you're getting better chest activation.
Benefits. So I just find it amazing how people are saying you gotta force the easiest way, when in reality, it should probably be the opposite. If we want to talk about giving you no choice but to do a dip a certain style, it should be the tricep dip, in which the body is completely upright. And how is this accomplished? By wearing a backpack. This way the resistance is coming behind you, and now whenever you want to lean forward, it'll kind of snap you back into place. In this way, if you're dipping 3 plates for reps, you might have to drop it down to 2. Therefore,
yeah, there's really not a lot of difference between wearing a backpack with weights in and having it around your waist. The difference is a few inches in, let's say it's behind you on your backpack, but dangling in front of you, it's dangling just from your waist. So it's about that much difference in where it is. Whereas if it's around your neck, it's about that much difference, which is going to make a huge difference in tilting your body forward. It's about leverages, okay? You have the weight close to your body, it's going to try and keep you upright, because the heavier weight is just going to drag you down. It's going to drag your body straight down. So you trying to lean forward, you're just going against the whole mechanics of the lift.
We're getting more out of less weight and probably correcting muscular weaknesses. Because like I said, when you get strong enough, you're probably not going to dip with a completely upright body angle. Highly unlikely. And I've yet to see this with anyone who's done over 100 kilos on the lift. All right, so when we talk about forcing a position, it has to be the harder way of doing it. Otherwise, there's no fucking point. Makes sense? The second issue, which I've heard so many times and this always blows my mind. I don't have a weight belt. Why the fuck not, is my response. Even if you work a minimum wage job, you make $10 an hour. A good weighted dip belt will range between 20 and 50 bucks. Therefore, worst case scenario, it'll cost you 5 hours of work for a belt that'll last you many years, probably 5 to 10 at the bare minimum. An investment for your long-term gains. And by you saying, I don't have a belt to do weighted calisthenics, already implies that you're not that serious. And if that's your reasoning, then so be it. Just don't claim that there's anything magical of putting 30 pounds around your neck when you're capable.
No one's saying there's anything magical about it. It's just a decent exercise. It's a worthwhile exercise to do. It activates your chest more than putting it around your waist because it makes the mechanics of the lift more focused on the chest. It's just a fact.
Of tripling and even going beyond that level of strength. So that's one factor to it. Now, if your objection is, well, Alex, I don't have the belt because it's simply not needed. I'm able to put a lot of chains around my neck and get the overloading response. Here's the problem with that. Already, one chain is uncomfortable. You add on two, it's starting to get lower on your neck. 3, 4, 5, which is probably what you're going to need when you're going really heavy.
You're going to need 5 chains around your neck to get a decent workout. As far as I know, each one of those big chains weighs about 20 kilos. You don't need 100 kilos around your neck to get a good dip workout in. What do you think all these people that you're talking to are lifting? You think they're all massive strength athletes, bodybuilders? No one's using 5 chains around the neck, Alex, okay? Unless we're talking about 1 rep maxes here, which I don't know why you're doing 1 rep maxes on dips in the first place. You don't need 5 chains, or 3 or 4 or 5 chains to get a good dip workout in, even if it's the first exercise in your chest workout. There's no need. It's 20 kilos around your neck. Because it's tilting your body forward, you won't be as strong in the position if you're properly leant forward with the chains around your neck. So you're not going to need 3, 4, 5 chains around your neck to get a good workout in, unless you're insanely strong, or unless you're just talking about doing 1 rep, which what's the point of doing 1 rep on dips? Consistently anyway. Maybe to find out how strong you are, which is fun, but doing 1 rep or a couple of reps on dips, it's not going to give you any benefits, strength or size really.
Now you've restricted your scapular movement by a lot. In other words, the dip becomes far more unsafe and uncomfortable for 0 added benefit. As I explained earlier, you're already leaning forward regardless, so you don't need to be forced in doing so, and you're not accommodating the strength curve in any type of way. So now you're doing a regular way to dip with less upper back mobility, which is the worst thing you could ask for, especially when using heavier weights. Already, dips have a reputation of being higher risk compared to a flat bench. And now, you're not going to allow your scapula to move correctly? Convenience is never worth it when it...
Dude, if your chains are covering your back, then you're doing it wrong. They're supposed to go around your neck. If you're putting the chains on your back, then you're doing it wrong, or you're using too many chains and going too low on your reps. 2 chains around your neck should not be restricting your back movement in any way, unless you've got a tiny neck. So I don't see how this is a valid point on why chain dips are garbage. It doesn't make any sense.
Compromise the movement itself, especially when this is such a simple fix, and it is by default convenient. You bring a belt to the gym, clip it onto the chains, takes 2 seconds to set up. So besides money, what's the problem? Now you got something that actually has real tangible benefits. You're accommodating the strength curve. manipulating the joint angle stress itself, overloading the top, deloading the bottom a bit, better on your shoulders. This variation will actually prevent overuse while getting you stronger in a different way, not just for the sake of changing up the movement because it looks fucking cool. Which brings me on to my final point. But Alex, The Rock does dips with chains around his neck. When I hear stuff like this, it makes me so sad for the fitness community that we have to appeal to celebrities or those who are relatively jacked or have some of the best physiques around. I think I'm gonna start calling this the appeal to Reuter fallacy. Guys, use your brain.
Right, okay. So because he thinks people do it to look cool and The Rock does it and people want to look like The Rock, that means it's a garbage exercise because The Rock does it and people only do it to look cool, right? So what about where you lift 300 kilos 1 inch off the ground and you scream around the gym like you've just fucking defeated the entire Spartan army? What about that? Is that not you doing a lift because you want to look cool and strong? No? Are you sure you're not just jealous of bodybuilders? And you think they're doing it to look cool by putting a chain around their neck, which is not the reason they're doing it. They're doing it to get a good workout in. And if you actually knew anything about it, you'd know that when you put a chain around your neck and do dips, you can feel it in a totally different way in your chest, which is the reason bodybuilders do it like that. It's not to look cool. It's because it's a fucking good exercise, mate.
Do you honestly think that doing a dip with a chain around your neck, which I already exposed, has far less benefits than you realize? Do you honestly think that's the reason why The Rock is continuously getting better year after year, especially when he's prepping for a movie role? Do you think that that's what the Hollywood trainers are recommending out there? This is the fucking secret? Behind the scenes.
No one's saying it's the secret. Why are you blowing this way out of proportion? It's just another exercise in your arsenal to use. You're acting like it's the worst exercise that's ever been thought up. It's a good exercise. I don't know why you've got such negativity towards it. I think it's because it's a bodybuilding exercise and you just don't like bodybuilders because you assume all or most bodybuilders are just on steroids, and you have a very weird thing about people on steroids.
They're like, okay, guys, you're going to start doing the dips with the chains, and then you're going to announce it to your audience. And if they question you about drugs, all you got to say is, well, look, bro, I've been training for decades. I work my ass off 5 hours a day. Look at the dedication.
What has this got to do with chain dips? We started on why chain dips are garbage, apparently, and now he's moved on to drugs and people saying that they've got that big because of chain dips and not drugs. I don't know what you're talking about now, Alex. You've just got a complete tangent.
In other words, a downplaying that's so fucking common among these individuals. I'm not trying to rant here, but like, when you see someone who has a good physique demonstrating exercise, that says nothing about the effectiveness of the movement. Not a fucking thing. If you can't logically explain the benefits, cannot discuss the biomechanics, pros and cons, which muscle groups are worked and why, if you can't give reason.
All right, Alex, I'll explain it to you now. The muscle groups worked in the chain dips are your chest and your triceps mainly, because you are put in a more mechanically advantageous position to use your chest because you're pushed further forward, because you are forced to lean further forward and thus recruit more of your chest. Whereas if you are more upright and your weight is around your waist, then it's hard to recruit your chest when your arm is just going straight down like that on each side. Whereas if you're doing chain dips and the weight is around your neck and your body is pulled forward like that, then your arm is going to be coming more across your body like that, which uses more of your chest, which is why people do this exercise. So there you go, Alex. I've just explained the biomechanics to you.
Reasons, not look at me, I got results. I don't give a fuck about that. Give me a goddamn reason on why I should do a dip with a chain around my neck. Give me one fucking reason besides.
He's getting very angry, yeah, over an exercise. I don't know why he's got so much anger about an exercise, but okay.
Oh, I lean more forward and it hits my chest harder. Is that all you have to say? Here's the truth. The Rock or any other...
Yeah, that's what I'm about. That's what I'm saying, Alex. You lean forces you to lean forward and it hits your chest harder. I don't know why that's so hard for you to comprehend. You're quite an experienced lifter. You should know this. It seems you just made this video to have something to argue about and get controversial about, and I really don't see the point.
Bodybuilder who does this exercise doesn't look that way because of it. In fact, we can make the argument that their gains would be better if they modified the execution. If these same individuals...
Right, you could say that about anything. I could say that about anything that you do, Alex. I could say, you don't look the way you do, or you're not as strong as you are because of the exercises you've been doing. I could say, you know, if you change your exercises to a more bodybuilding style routine and more bodybuilding style exercises, you'd have better gains. Anyone could say that about anyone. It's a total nonsensical argument.
Did regular weighted dips, the hypertrophy and strength results would be just as good, if not better, because now you're not compromising the exercise. You can lift much heavier weights. If anything, it'll force you to specialize and induce proper progressive overload. It's not just gonna be like, okay, let me grab this random chain in the gym and do some dips to failure. You're gonna be meticulous about your program. Like, imagine if The Rock was doing 200-pound dips. I can sure as fuck guarantee you that's gonna be superior to doing, say, 60 to 90 pounds with the chains. Or if he still wants to use them, like I said, just clip him.
Superior for what? For strength? I don't think The Rock's training for strength. If you're training for strength, then yeah, put as much weight on as possible and use the exercise where it forces you into the most biomechanically advantageous position to lift the most weight. If you're training for strength. The Rock isn't training for strength, he's training for movie roles where he needs to look his best. That's why he's doing the chain dips, because it hits your chest and he wants his chest to grow. He doesn't want to get stronger at dips. He wants to grow his chest, and that's why he's doing it, because he feels it more in his chest, and he knows that's going to make his chest grow more than doing them upright.
To the goddamn weight belt, which is what smart hypertrophy and strength coaches recommend. Check out Hypertrophy Coach. Shout out. Great channel, great guy, super intelligent. I didn't realize it, but he's been promoting that exact same variation for a long time. And it makes sense because this is what you would do on a squat, a deadlift, a bench press. Anyone who uses chains in an athletic environment or even for bodybuilding purposes will know that you don't just dangle them off the fucking barbell sleeves. You have to suspend them correctly such that they close in at the bottom, and as you go through the range of motion, they start lengthening. That is how the fuck it's done. If you're not doing this, you're wasting the opportunity of using.
That is how people use chains for strength exercises, to train for strength. He's not using the chain to collect on the floor. He's using it as a weight around his neck. It doesn't matter that it's a chain. It could be anything. It could be a weight with a weight belt around his neck. It doesn't have to be a chain. So the fact that you're talking about how strength athletes use chains to collect on the floor properly, that has no bearing on this argument. I don't know why you've even brought that up.
Using the chains, and in that case, do it with a fucking straight weight. Okay, that's how we actually use chains for a specific training benefit.
Right, I think I've understood now. He's angry because bodybuilders are using the strength chains, his strength chains, in the wrong way. I think that's what this is all about. That's why Alex is so angry and confused about the whole situation, because he's seeing bodybuilders on steroids using his chains in the wrong way, for a way they weren't intended for, and that seems to have really got to him.
And with that said, I got not much else to say. I want to expand upon this because I feel you can only cover so much in a YouTube short. I hope you enjoyed this video. More on the way, and of course, more shorts too.
Right, that was a video. It was an interesting one. He's a very angry man, is Alex. It seems to be from a lot of his videos. He's got some issues with people who take steroids and just bodybuilders in general, it seems. If you don't do things his way, if you're not training for strength, if you're not doing the exercises where you can use the most amount of weight and look the most alpha as possible, like he does, then you're just doing it wrong. And I think that's a very narrow-minded way of looking at things. Well, anyway, that was a video. I hope you liked it. I hope you got something from it. I hope it enlightened some of you on why chain dips are actually a good exercise and they are worth doing, especially if you're into bodybuilding and building a big chest. So, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time.